All right, let's talk about Australian Nazis.
Yeah, there's lots of little facets to this conversation, but first of all, I think this happened all around Australia, but I'm pretty sure this is the Melbourne, I was going to say rally, protests. Here we go.
Violence has erupted on the streets of Melbourne as thousands of protesters clashed. Police struggled to keep any order as a rally billed as a march for Australia was met by counter-protesters, with officers resorting to pepper spray to stop brawls.
Chaos and violence as anger took over the streets of Melbourne. Two protests shutting down the city as thousands flew the flag for their beliefs.
The reason for this march was not about racism, not about...
Sorry, I'm just going to bring this back. I just want you to pay attention.
For their beliefs.
I just want you to pay attention to the different flag back here, Chewie. This is the moment.
That's the naval ensign.
Yes, it's not the flag he's talking about, though. All he needs to turn... If he turned around, he'd probably lose his shit.
This march was not about racism, not about pro-war.
That's quite the Australian accent he's got as well.
One flag for one nation, one people.
One flag, one nation, one people, whilst we're seeing two different Australian flags here. Just a little side note there. It's also interesting that this is not about racism. This is not about white people. And we're about to show you a neo-Nazi speaking from the pulpit. So, but you know.
It was about one flag for one nation, one people.
We were a great country until our politicians
let all those brown people
Someone come and get their nana.
whatever.
She's in the sherry
they
again.
sold us out.
The March for Australia group was the largest, beginning at Flinders Street Station and walking under an anti-immigration banner.
Don't want to scare anybody, but there's certainly more than one flag there. Just saying, just
Eureka
putting it out
flag.
there.
Yeah.
Old fella better not see the other ones, because there's more than one flag there.
Coming head-to-head with counter-protesters who claim the march is racist.
Standing up for mass immigration, we just happened to be walking past this way, so they all jumped us.
Police resources were stretched to the absolute limit. Officers on foot, horseback and bike, sometimes not enough. Eggs flew, flags burned. Anyone and everyone caught in the firing line. A police barricade stopped counter-protesters walking any further south than Collins Street to avoid further clashes. They then marched here to the steps of State Parliament. The two groups came agonisingly close to all-out war. As counter-protesters left,
"You're racist and you're hateful."
The March for Australia stormed towards State Parliament. Neo-Nazi leader Thomas Sewell addressed the audience.
But it's not true. It's not about white people, and it's not about racism. You know, but one of their main speakers is a neo-Nazi. But it's not.
This is not hyperbole as well. He is leading an avowed and stated neo-Nazi group.
Yeah. He was a part of the group that went to the Posey Parker protest. You know, so... You know.
He'll be the organiser of that midnight march that happened a couple of weeks ago. These guys have little campouts up in the hills around Melbourne and that sort of thing. They're not a huge group, but their numbers are not insignificant either. This is the nucleus. They're the guys that organise this, and they've suckered in a whole bunch of people which are perfectly happy with garden variety racism.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe haven't been militarized to the point that this guy's group is.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter to them. They just want to put people in a movement and say, look, these guys support us. And the moment that I don't care what your views are, if a Nazi turns up at the same thing that you're for, you either need to get fucking rid of them, or you need to look at yourself and going, shit, a Nazi likes this thing that I like. Maybe I need to go home and have a think.
Do you mean something like this? If there's a Nazi speaking at a rally with 999 other people happily listening, you got a rally with 1,000 Nazis? Was that kind of what you're thinking?
Yep, 100%.
Is that sort of what you're thinking?
Great minds.
Yeah, there we go. All right, let's go back to the story.
Audience.
We have to stop immigration and become a nation once again.
A nation of immigrants.
Tensions flared as the microphone.
Yeah, you used to talk about people who are racist being dumb. What does he think they are now? if they're not a nation? Like, what is his genuine belief as to what they are? What are they? Are they like a commune, or maybe they're a collective? Or what if they're not a nation? What the fuck are they? It's bizarre.
Side issue, but I do want to point out that this guy's kind of overcooked his mustache a little bit. It's a little bit too long. He needs to start shaving it down a little bit, maybe.
He also looks like he's 26. I mean, maybe he's just aged well. Maybe Nazism's good for the skin or something. But you know, what kind of world experience does he have? Yeah, we'll keep going.
As the microphone was hijacked.
Always was, always be, it will be Aboriginal land.
Yeah, good man.
Despite
man.
Very
and
brave.
political pleas, a peaceful protest was nowhere to be seen.
But I hope that people also understand when they're exercising a peaceful right to protest, the police are just there to do their job, and they're doing it in trying circumstances.
Sam Mills, 10 News.
It's funny how they're always doing their job of protecting these pricks. Like, it seems to happen an awful lot in Australia and Melbourne that they always seem to be shielding avowed marching Nazis from very angry citizens. But it's never the other way around.
We'll go straight back into another clip. I'm sure many people will have seen parts of this on the over the weekend. This guy is Bob Katter. He is an MP, and he had some interesting thoughts to offer about One Nation and what migrants should be. Now, most people have seen this if they've been on the internet, but what I hadn't seen is he gives a very well publicized reaction, but I hadn't seen the comments that caused that reaction. And the comments that caused his reaction was reminding him that he had Lebanese blood. That he did not like that one little bit, not one little bit.
We are going to press a button, and we're going to do everything humanly possible to ensure that if there are any migrants coming to this country, then they will be coming, tick the boxes. Do they have democracy? Do they have rule of law? Do they have Christianity or some similar belief system? Do they have egalitarian traditions? Do they have industrial awards? Now, if they don't tick the boxes, they don't come here.
So there were 100,000 people who attended the rally. Their police reckoning.
So that's 100,000 a couple of weekends ago over the bridge, who marched over the bridge to support the people of Gaza.
Sydney, and there's probably 50,000 in Brisbane.
That's how bad the situation has become.
And a lot of these people were born here. So
I don't care whether they're born here or not. If you have anti-Australian sentiments, then get the hell out of my country, because we are taking the names down now of anyone that treats our flag badly. We're taking their names down. You know, the gloves are coming right off.
What
now.
the fuck?
Bob, you've got Lebanese heritage yourself. What would you
Oh, mate, don't say that, because that irritates me, and I punch blokes in the mouth for saying that. Don't you dare say that. My family have been in this country for 140 years.
Right. And
so
what about
and
before
if you
then?
say anything like that, I have, on many occasions, punched blokes in the mouth. Right? So I'm restraining myself today. Don't say it.
Don't remind him that he's got Lebanese blood. Maybe some of his fellow white nationalists weren't quite aware of that. I think I've got. I know.
He is always my example when someone, maybe they're talking about women in politics and just saying that they don't have the temperament or the emotional control.
Yeah.
He's my example of like, oh really? Look, Australia's always had a problem with racism. Like, do you remember the Cronulla riots from 10, 15 years back?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this is a problem. It's always bubbling around. And as much as that guy Sewell wants to say that this was about immigration, him and his fucking merry band of swastika worshipping goons immediately went down the road and attacked an encampment of Aboriginal protesters. So it's not about immigration as much as they want to dress that up and attract, as I said, garden variety, casual racists into going, oh, it's just about the flag. It's just about positive things. It's bullshit.
that MP at the end did give off a little bit of Abe Simpson vibes away. I mean, you put a 10-gallon hat on that head, you've pretty much got it. One of the things I wanted to say, and I think we started the conversation closer to 9 o'clock, that it feels like we've got a little bit of an inoculation, not completely, but things that are happening here, pro-Māori things that are happening here, feel like they're a little bit of an inoculation. I mean, could you imagine, like we had, was it 30,000? We had 30,000 at the Hikui just before Christmas in this little old country. And it just feels, I'm not, obviously we're not saying everything's sweet as, we were all on top of it, no problems at all, but it feels like it's a little bit of a, for want of a better word, a vaccine, a little bit of a antidote to that stuff getting here. And I know that they exist, Chewie. You probably know better than me, but I just can't imagine the numbers. I know what happens is you get some avowed white supremacists and neo-Nazis, and they draw a crowd of, adjacent people. But in Australia, you also seem to have a core of, 100 avowed neo-Nazis. You don't seem to have that here. You don't have the huge number of a group there. You have a few. And it's the people who are alongside them who make up the numbers. So I don't know if that puts us in a better place or it's just proportional. But the thing I was going to say, and this relates straight to that MP, is you got to be super careful because it is here. I mean, it is here. Yeah. This is the same, right? Although the irony is that guy Katter, I think his name was talking about migrants, and obviously brown migrants from countries that speak different languages and have different religions. And it's weird because Winston's talking about the indigenous people of New Zealand, but in a similar way. But it feels like it's coming from the same place. They're othering them. As ironic as it sounds, it seems that Winston Peters is othering our indigenous people. You can understand someone othering a migrant, right? Not saying you'd accept it, obviously. I'm not saying it's okay, but you can understand it because they feel and look different. But you're talking about the indigenous people of New Zealand. Othering people who were here first. It seems more stupid, but it feels like it's coming from the same place, It's coming from the same place that, don't use that word. Can't use Aotearoa. Got to say, it's New Zealand, that's coming from the same place as get out of my country.
Yeah, look, and Winston's always been beating that drum, and we've had major political parties and major political figures happy to dip into that bucket of racism. And I think here in New Zealand we have some interesting aspects of it. There is the white supremacy, which is directed at anybody non-European, whether that be more recent Asian immigrants or Middle Eastern immigrants. We have that white supremacy directed at Māori as well. But when it's convenient, we can try and get Māori on side. Mm-hmm. Like, one of the most baffling things I've come across before is Māori in New Zealand-based neo-Nazi groups.
Really?
Yes, it happens. It's not especially common, but it is not unknown because they are the original indigenous people, right? So if we want to direct that at outsiders, then that is also a very useful tool for those groups to say, look, we're not white supremacists, we're just concerned about immigration. Look, we have a brown one.
Here's our token.
It is crazy when you see it. But yeah, I think yes, it is something to look at Australia and go, oh, we're lucky we don't have that this bad here, and we do have that inoculation, as you said. I don't think it's a vaccine. I don't think it's something that we can be complacent about. And
I agree.
Whether that is from our politicians or whether it's in our day-to-day. It's that casual racism. Like, I was part of a discussion on Blue Sky where someone was talking about having to call out their mother-in-law for saying something casually racist at the supermarket when someone that is not white worked at the supermarket, and she turned to her and says, oh, I guess the ethnics are out today. And she immediately turned to her mother-in-law and stopped on it and said, hey, look, no, we don't do that. I've had to do that in a family setting to a joke of going, oh, fuck no. No, no, no. I will ruin vibes at the drop of a hat with that sort of stuff. And it's that sort of hostile environment to that sort of casual racism. You know, if it's someone you don't know and they make a joke that's racially insensitive. One of my favorite ones is like, I'm sorry, I don't get it. What's funny about that? And see them try to explain it. It's awkward. It makes them acknowledge their racism. And then it goes to our politicians that we should never encourage it and we should call it out wherever we see it. And it goes as far as, if that hard right-wing organised to do a fucking march, then it must be resisted. Like, I've been part of arguments where people go, oh, just ignore it. They'll go away. They never go away. It's that analogy of being in a Nazi bar. They start by being nice and pleasant, and then they bring their mates, and then it's a Nazi bar. So you just have to fucking shut it down. And I'm glad to see that people put their bodies on the line in Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about that old guy that grabbed the bike.
Yeah.
That is the very definition of using your white privilege. He was allowed to approach that microphone because it was an old fella, an old white fella with a big white beard. He's going to say some stuff on our side. And he didn't. And he almost got assaulted doing it. What an absolute fucking champion.
I always think when we define someone we don't know, because he could have Aboriginal blood in him as well. We don't know. But yeah, blonde hair and white beard certainly is a pass mark for a white supremacist to allow through the front of the door, isn't it?
But yeah, when people are talking about white privilege and what you can do with it, there's your example.
Yeah.
You know, lots of people here locally, when Julian Batchelor was touring his little circus around the country, were certainly using their white privilege to get into those meetings and resist.
Yeah.
So that's what we're here for, chat. That's us.